Barakate Yahweh, Barakate Yahweh Shai, Barakate Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash, Kal, Ivalam, Halal, Wa, Kaba Wala, Allahayanahu Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, of great millstone who rule well, teach well. Shalom, Wa Barakim, Labaka Yarim, Akim Wa Akwa, scattered across the four winds. Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Barakathum to you all. It's your brother Yahweh Khan, come back through the spirit of power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah with another quick little update on prophecy, couple little articles. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah Ratazah. This is edifying, Salakia, edifying to you, sister Akin Wa Aqua. Okay. Couple articles I want to get into. And just to prophesy about the destruction of this place, the revealing of the man of sin, this devil, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, okay? Because they continuously, hold on, Salaki, bear with me. They tons work deceitfully. Salaki. Look at this in Psalms. I'm going to start at verse 1. Psalms chapter 52, verse 1. Why boastest thou thyself in mischief, O mighty man? Because that's what they do. They boast in the things that they do. The so-called goals they accomplish. Like when they push out all these requirements and people do take the jump shots, they boast as if that's an accomplishment when it's really all a setup. Reading on, Almighty. It's like the goodness of the Most High endureth continually. And we know that the Most High's word, his righteousness will endure continually. The kingdom of Yahweh Shah will be established, and that will endure continually, everlasting, forever. But look, verse 2. Thy tongue deviseth mischiefs. Devise means to plan, to meditate, imagine. Mischiefs like a sharp razor working deceitfully. Okay? Now, I'm going to back that up with a couple articles. Look, Microsoft co-founder BG has warned that another is inevitable. Okay? And when you look at that word inevitable, that means unavoidable, certain to happen. So he's saying it's going to happen. And that it would not be caused by the, you feel me? He also said that risk of certain, no, I ain't even got to read that, so like it. But coming down, the billionaire stated in an interview that advances in medical technology should help the world do a better job of fighting any virus that may emerge in the future. And what will that medical technology be? We know Revelation 13:16, Charagma, that badge. The badge, because when you go into that word, hold on, let me get that. This is significant right here. Because I went into the word. Hold on, let me get it. Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. And he causeth all, which means he make ready. How is he making everybody ready? With this prelude, this juice, this jump shot is just a prelude to this, what's coming up. Read on. Both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, which means all, everybody, nobody is exempt. Read on. To receive a MAR to the K in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay, let's go into that word. Charagma, we know it is. That's like it. Charagma, a stamp and imprinted mark of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand. We know it's going to be inside, so don't let that deceive you. But we know as the badge of the followers of the anti-Messiah. So this is going to lead up to this badge, this charagma. And then when you go into the number, So, like, let me read that verse. Revelation 13, 17. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here's wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666, which is the three sixes. Okay, and then when you go into that, so like it. When you go into that,
Strong's G 5516. Chi, Xi, Stigma. Chi, Xi, Stigma.
chi, xi, stigma. All right. So look, and then when you look at that word stigma, it's a mark made on the skin. Hold on, here go right here. From Greek stigma, mark of a pointed instrument, puncture. So they're gonna puncture the skin and insert that charagma, which is the grain of rice. All right. That's what he talk about when he say the billionaire stated in the interview that advances in medical technology, should help the world do a better job of fighting any virus that may emerge in the future. But he just said it was inevitable. See, they tongue is like a razor, working deceitfully. But look, we'll have another pandemic. It will be a different pathogen this time. The chance of severe disease, which is mainly associated with being elderly. So they coming and having obesity or diabetes. And you see that a lot. A lot of people just eat sugar all day. But reading on, those risks are now dramatically reduced because of that infection. So like, yeah. But look, check this out. While 61.9% of the world population has received at least one jump shot of the juice, BG said that it was already too late to reach the goal to get a juice to 70% of the global population by mid-2022. So they had a goal. This shows you that everything is planned. But check this out. Next time we should try and make it instead of 2 years. Okay, because we've been in the pandemic 2 years now. He said instead of 2 years, we should make it more like 6 months. That's Revelation 12 and 12. They coming down with a great wrath, for he knoweth that he hath but a short time. The cost of being ready for the next pandemic is not that large. It's not like climate change. If we're rational, yes, the next time we'll catch it early. All right. Now check this out. All I did was search up BG. Like, yeah. Yeah, read this. BG. If every country does what Australia did, the world could prevent the next pandemic. But he said it's inevitable, which means unavoidable, certain to happen. So ain't no preventing. But he said if every country does what Australia did. Now, if I recall correctly, Australia had everybody on lockdown inside of them camps. And look, for months, BG has warned of a new pandemic looming on the horizon. And according to the Microsoft co-founder, one country has already laid out a blueprint for successfully mitigating it. How they already got a blueprint? Because it's planned. But look, if every country does what Australia did, then you wouldn't be calling the next outbreak a plandemic. Gates, a health philanthropist who has dedicated billions of dollars to vaccine research because he's trying to hide it. But look, keeping a new outbreak from becoming a plandemic will almost certainly prevent many of the global consequences caused by C-19. But Gates noted it'll likely require much stricter policies in the future outbreaks early days than how most of the world enacted against the last pandemic. And countries will need to maintain those policies for a sustained period of time, even potentially against public pressure. Why will it be public pressure? Because they go come down with a great wrath. And that great wrath is going to incite the uproars of the people, the insurrection against those who fear the Lord. Because people not going to want to abide by this system, even though the majority will give in, right? Hold on, let me go back to Psalms. And it just shows you, like, they throwing it in people's face. The proof is in the pudding. First, Psalm chapter 52, verse 1. Read this again. Why boastest thou thyself in mischief, this devil, O mighty man? The goodness of the Most High endureth continually. Because it's all the will. It's all through the will and through the spirit of power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah. They boasting as if they are the one doing it, but they not. It's the Heavenly Father. Because He's about to destroy this place and establish the kingdom of Yahweh Shah on earth as it is in heaven. Verse 2, thy tongue deviseth mischiefs. And we just was reading about a lot of mischief. He said the next pandemic will be inevitable. He said they're going to act on it early. He said instead of 2 years, 6 months. That's devising mischiefs, like a sharp razor working deceitfully. Thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness. Thou lovest all devouring words, O thou deceitful tongue. And that was all devouring words. So let's go back. So like it. Look at this. Vaccine rates in Australia are also relatively high. 81% of the country's population is fully juiced against the thingamajig. 81%. So here, look this up. There's reason to believe Australia's blueprint may have been less successful elsewhere. Its population of nearly 26 million is relatively small, and it's an island without any land borders. But he still called it a true outlier. They orchestrated diagnostics, they executed quarantine policies, and they have a death rate in a different league than other rich countries, he said. And everybody had the capability to do that. So he is basically glorifying what they did. Looking up to what they did. Basically saying that's what they about to do. Strict policies. The strict policies. And if you read this paragraph, he cited Australia's COVID response as the gold standard to follow. The gold standard to follow. The country reopened its international borders this week for the first time since March 2020 over the course of the pandemic. Returning citizens and approved international travelers have been required to quarantine in hotels guarded by police and military members. And this is the gold standard he is talking about. These lockdowns are coming, so. And what the scriptures say? Hold on. Let's get this. 2nd Ezra, chapter 15. Start at verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Which, woe means destruction. For the sword and their destruction. So like it for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. And we know that the people about to start coming against each other, Egyptian against Egyptian. That's going to be a part of the uproars. Swords in their hands, that would be the modern day guns or whatever weapon. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And why would that be happening? Because of the famines, the lack of the bread, the great tribulation. People go be turning on each other. They all buddy now. They all a part of the slumber party now. Everybody sleep to what's going on, even with the prophets prophesying, starting with the apostles on down. But when that day come, when Jacob's trouble pop off, people gonna be turning on each other. They shall not regard their kings nor princes in the course of their actions outstanding their power. They not gonna want to hear what sleepy, creepy Joe got to say, or whoever the mayor is, none of that. But look, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Right? That's what it's gonna come to. That's a part of that lockdown, the golden standard. So like the gold standard that he was talking about with Australia, right? Hold on, let me read that again. He said it's gonna be stricter policies. Keeping a new outbreak from becoming a pandemic will almost certainly prevent many of the global consequences caused by the. But he noted it'll likely require much stricter policies. All right, right. Now check this out. I peeped this in the next article. You see, he is selling his stocks ahead of another possible crisis, which he claimed was inevitable. He claimed it was inevitable. The Microsoft founder famously predicted that something like this pandemic could happen, and is now looking ahead to what the next pandemic might be. Even writing a book titled "How to Prevent the Next Pandemic." These devils? Even writing a book. That's how you know the people dumb down. He writing a book about, like, it's just light. Like, this is something light. This is crazy. Hold on. All right, so it's going to be locked down, stricter policies. But look, it has been reported that he is buying shares in sectors related to basic human needs, such as those in agriculture, Sanderson Farms, or water. He is also purchasing stocks in domestic transport, which some are taking to mean he foresees another international crisis. Now, if it's going to be lockdowns, why would he be investing in domestic transport? And why is he investing in basic human needs? Because people going to be inside them camps. People going to be inside them. Hold on, let's get this in Revelation. That's how you know. Scripture say, Revelation 2:10, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Fear none of them. Behold, the devil, this so-called white man, this devil, Esau, Edom, the devil shall cast some of you into prison that ye may be tried. Tried with what? That charagma, the badge of the followers of the anti-Messiah. That ye may be tried, ye shall have tribulation 10 days, which is mean a period of time. But look, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So we know he investing in these camps ultimately. Basic human needs and domestic transport for what? If everything will be locked down. Because look, I looked at that word domestic transport. Domestic transport. Domestic transport is the movement of goods or people within the national borders of a country. The means the movement either by air or land occurs inside the country. In contrast, the movement of goods and people across different borders is known as international transport. So he invested in domestic transport, which is the movement of people, whether by air or land. Let's get this, 2 Corinthians chapter 2. Chapter 2, verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Why are we not ignorant? Because Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Ratazah. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 5. Ye are all the children of the light. Talk about us in this truth. Throw the apostles on down, spreading this truth, being in this light, this truth. And the children of the day, we are not of the night nor of darkness. So we are not ignorant of this man's devices. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. Everybody else sleep in this world. This man is investing in these camps. Okay? Just a quick little update. Just searched up. You see all type of popped up. And then you got to really break down these articles as well, because they be lying. They tongues fall upon themselves, as the scriptures say. We know they planning some. We are not ignorant of his devices. You know? Yeah. Get one more. So like it, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 2. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. Yep. And the chairs come, the nukes in the air is going to come as a thief in the night. But before that, we got other prophecies, which will also be as a thief in the night. Verse 3, for when they shall say peace and safety, they just take away all the requirements, letting people have so-called freedom, has peace and safety. But look, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with a child, and they shall not escape. That's going to be that Jacob's trouble when that kick off, and nobody go escape but the Lord's elect. Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shabbat Tazah will be a part of that number. With that, I want to say, Barakath Yahweh, Barakath Yahweh Shai, Barakath Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakadash, Kal, Iwalam Halayim, Wakabu Wala, Allahaya Nawa Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakadash. Till next time, I say Shalom, Wamawaf Lababor.